Good evening, everyone. I am going to try to make pumpkin butter for the first time. So this is a pumpkin recipe book I picked up at Ollie's last month. I absolutely love it. There is so many cool recipes in it. And I'm going to make pumpkin butter. I'm actually showing the recipe because it's a quite common recipe to make pumpkin butter. I've never made it before though. We're going to do it in the crock pot. So this is fresh pumpkin that I baked yesterday. It was a small pumpkin pie pumpkin. And I will link the video down below where I showed how to bake your pumpkin. And now I haven't pureed it yet, so I'm going to stick it in a larger bowl and puree it with my hand blender. So the recipe does say 2 cans of pure pumpkin, which is 15 ounces each. So I need 30 ounces of pureed pumpkin, 3/4 cup dark brown sugar, 1/4 cup maple syrup, 2 teaspoons ground cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon ginger, 1/4 teaspoon cloves, 1/4 teaspoon allspice, 1/4 teaspoon nutmeg, a little salt, and I'm gonna slow cook this in the crock pot for 7 hours. So first step is I'm gonna use all this pumpkin, but I need to measure it out to make sure I have at least 30 ounces. And then if I have more than 30 ounces, I need to just double check the recipe to modify for exactly how many ounces I'm going to use. Now I've blended it enough with the hand blender where it looks like baby food. I'm going to measure it out in this fluid ounce cup to see how many ounces. I know it's normally for liquids this side up, for dries this side up. It's kind of liquidy, so we're using the liquid side. Whether it's correct or not, I don't know. This is what I'm doing. I have all the ingredients in. Now I'm going to start mixing it. I actually thought I was going to have too much pumpkin puree, but I ended up being 1 ounce short. I only had 29 ounces when I needed 30 ounces. So I didn't really edit it. I just left it as is. So now I'm going to stir it really good. And it says let cook in the crock pot at low for 7 hours, stirring every couple of hours. And it might take a little longer than 7 hours because I'm using fresh pumpkin. And with fresh pumpkin, it's a little more watery than when you buy like canned pumpkin. It's just more watery. And so it might take more than 7 hours. We'll see. I haven't ever made pumpkin butter before. I have made apple butter, so I'm assuming it's similar. You just want it to look like that nice deep color, and it would thicken up a lot. Let me scrape down the sides. And then it smells really good. So I had all the ingredients except for the dark brown sugar. I just had light brown sugar, so I had to buy a bag of that. But everything else I already had in my spice cabinet, so it's a easy and cheap recipe to make. If I can find a link for this book, I will link it down below. I bought it, I'm not sponsored whatsoever. But there are so many good pumpkin recipes in this. Besides sweet treats, there's also savory, which it's kind of hard to find savory pumpkin recipes on the internet. It's mainly like just soup or roasted like pumpkin, but there's definitely a lot of different ideas that I would have never thought of. I have had a lot of luck with the recipes books that I've bought lately. Like I haven't found one that I don't like, but out of all the ones I've bought in the last couple months, this is definitely one of my top favorites. Okay, what's going on? What is going on? She's a kitten. We're still training her. Get down. You know you're not supposed to be on the camera. Look, I'm going to grab the water bottle. Do you know what that means? You do. I don't even have to spray her. She gets down. Thank you. Thank you. Please stay off the counter. This is 2 hours cooking. It smells really good. I definitely should have scraped down the sides better, because now it's just, stuck on the side of the bowl, but that's fine. It'll wash. It smells really good, and it is darkening quite nicely. It's been 7.5 hours. It still has a little moisture in it because I left the lid on. I probably should have left the lid on, taken the lid off the last half hour, because moisture clung to the top, but I have nosy cats. I think it looks pretty darn good. I think it looks like a great consistency. All right, taste test. Normally, like, you spread it like on a bagel or butter or something, butter on toast, but I'm just eating it as is. So remember, it's fresh pumpkin. I could have pureed it a little better or strained it. I chose not to, so that's why it's a little bit stringy. It tastes like pumpkin pie without crust.
Kinda. It's a little stronger though.
What do you think?
It's stronger than pumpkin pie filling.
You feel like spreading it on toast?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
That's what they recommend. How would you eat it? How would you eat it?
Like this.
You like
Cold.
it just like, yeah, it's warm. It needs to be cooling down. It might firm up a little more once it's in the fridge. This is what happens. This is what happens when you have cats.
Felix,
They just don't stop.
You don't even call them the right name.
That's
Felix,
Danny.
Get down.
Nutmeg's good. She knows not
Get down,
to leave the
Pepper.
bar stool. This boy, he's still a kitten. You get down.
Get down, Felix. It's weird.
I would make this again. I would make it again. Especially because this is fresh pumpkin. I have some frozen puree from last year that if I don't think of anything else to do, I don't like to like have it more than a year. So last year's puree, if I don't use it in any recipes at the end of this season, I think I'm going to defrost it all and make it into butter and it's called pumpkin butter, but it's not butter. There's no butter in it. Pumpkin spread. It's pretty good. I don't feel like, it's kind of like pudding. I don't feel like I need to spread it on anything.
I told you, pudding.
Pudding.
I said I want to eat it like pudding.
Eat it like pudding. I like it. And like I mentioned earlier, this is actually maple pumpkin butter.
This is maple? How does it make it maple?
1/4 cup of maple syrup is in it. So you can do pumpkin butter without the maple syrup. So
is
it's
this real maple syrup or inch of my own?
No, it was I used your maple syrup, honey. Oops. Sorry, honey. I used your maple syrup.
I'm fine with that.
I would make it again.